Right. So how does the role differ from the staff? The staff with the city administrator, in this case, the finance director at City Hall, is to do the detailed work of the financial reports and budgeting, and provide that first to the Personnel and Finance Committee, and then ultimately to the Common Council for final approval on any matters. This past year was a challenge with that, not making any excuses, but it started with the election of a young, inexperienced mayor, followed by the resignation of 2 alderpersons, one of which was a long-standing chair of the Personnel and Finance Committee, and then without even asking, I had the pleasure of going into the role of being the chair of that committee, which is by far the busiest, most challenging committee of all of them in the city.
What do you believe is the appropriate responsibility of alders when it comes to city financial matters? How does this role differ from the role of staff? And who do you believe is ultimately responsible for the city's fiscal well-being?
I agree with Paul. It's the legislative and executive branches that determine. Different from the staff. I believe it goes even further than what Paul said with just the finance director and city administrator. I believe it goes back to the department heads. I took the initiative in January to meet with all the department heads this year. So the whole month of February, I met with every one of the department heads, and we went over their budget, we went over the concerns, the questions that they had for the council and about their budget. All that information was then delivered into the department head meetings that they hold on a monthly basis. That goes to the financial director, who takes it to the Personnel and Finance Committee, and we go from there.
Just for clarification on the yellow and red cards, when the candidates have 20 seconds left, the yellow card is placed up. As the red card, does mean that the time is allocated, and our volunteers have done a great job with their time. Thank you. Okay, so your final question from us, then we'll get to the audience questions, is what do you think your greatest assets and challenges would be as an alder person? What do you feel, what have you found to be most challenging about your service as an alder? Rob, this will go to you next.
My greatest asset as an alder, I would have to say, and my wife will probably disagree, just listening to our constituents. I mean, over the last 7 years, I've had constituents call me with needs and concerns about the city, from little things, as egg prices are getting too high and we need an urban chicken ordinance. So I pursued it. Maryland has an urban chicken ordinance for all you that do not know that. So we have urban chickens. The assets of getting out there and meeting the people, knocking the doors, talking to your neighbors, your friends down the street, bringing new opportunities into town. My challenge, that would be bringing industries and new businesses into town. I mean, we did a great job here the last couple months with expanding 3 local businesses in town, creating over 65 jobs in the 3 businesses. The area was set for 3 businesses and we have 4. So that was a challenge that was very well received, and Merrill's going to be very, very lucky to have 4 businesses that we have expanding into our community.
what do you feel your greatest assets are to the council? And then what have you found most challenging about your service as an alder?
That would be the most challenging, is trying to get more businesses here and have them expected.
Yellow and red cards aren't quite like the yellow and red cards in soccer. Challenges, teamwork, cooperation, and communication between City Hall, the mayor, and the common council. That needs to improve if we want to get more done. We want to get more accomplished and more done in this past year, which I'm not happy with, and I feel confident to speak for most of the members of the council. Challenges of keeping everybody happy, this thing called politics, where not everybody agrees and wants to spend more money or spend less money and see development or not see development. And I think to communicate effectively on that in two different forms or fashions, and it's one of the other three legs I have. I like the fact that the recall group took the time and effort to come and start communicating with the council. Last I checked, we're a representative democracy, and that means the citizens have a say-so of who their elected officials are. That matters to me. I hope it does to everybody else. The asset part of the question, is that a personal asset or the council as a whole? One other challenge is time. I'm not exaggerating when I say this past year, the chair of the Personnel and Finance Committee could have been a full-time job. And with the assistance of the city staff and city administrator, that helped a lot. But these aren't easy jobs, and guess what? You don't get a book on day one to tell you how to do it. It's on-the-job training, and hopefully you have some experience on the council to help train and mentor you and prepare you for your job. Because nobody's going to do it for you. Assets I like, problems some.
Okay, thank you. I think the audience is still having difficulty hearing us, so please do speak as close as it is uncomfortable to do so. So we are transitioning. So we are transitioning to the audience question portion of the evening. We have about 30 minutes for audience questions, so that was relatively quick. Jeremy, do you want to ask the question? Okay. How do you do it?
So the first audience submitted question for the night is going to go toward Alderman Russell. And the first question is, with all the criticism surrounding this and every campaign, what have you done to curb the negativity directed at you and your opponent? What will you do to address this in the future?
And then you will be answering the same question.
In my opening statement, I commented on the fact that Becky and I have met several times to try and keep that temperature low and as drama-free as possible. Plus, I don't know her that well, so we're just getting to know each other. Most of you will see a very large spread in the Wausau Daily Herald either tomorrow or over the weekend that'll answer a lot of those questions. And I said I didn't see a whole lot about her because I don't know a whole lot about her. The negativity about me probably centered around why we didn't fire the city administrator. We received, whatever the latest World News had, 134 complaints in the letter to the editor. 2/3 of those complaints were Xerox copies of the same complaints. And I've always been taught and trained to look at the information and evidence if you're the decision maker, and that's what our committee did in that case, and took appropriate action. And unfortunately, there's legal reasons and personal reasons. All that information can't be shared with the public. I hope that sounded good, Tom. The second thing that happened was an administrative error by the finance director on the tax information for this past year's tax bills. Same thing. People wanted heads, and last I checked, and this didn't make the full news for one article, the public meetings were ended in 1936 in the United States. So again, what did our committee do? We took a lot of time and effort to analyze the evidence and information and make decisions based on that.
The negativity towards me personally. Well, first thing is you remove yourself from the negativity, especially on Facebook. Remove yourself from the group. You'll be amazed that after your responses become positive. Going door to door, there was a lot of negativity, as Paul mentioned, on a mistake. This council members followed proper protocol for a mistake. I don't know anybody else that's going to get fired from a mistake. So if you do it, it has to be a pretty bad one. I know I make mistakes at work. I get questioned about them, and we move on. And that's what we have to do as a community. There was a mistake that was made, procedures were followed, it's taken care of. We took steps this year to have a better open operations with the budget. Something that didn't take last year with the new administration that was coming in. So this is what we're doing. We have been more transparent with the community, with the public, on getting the information out that needs to be out to them. Here, the last part. What was the last part? Just
So the two-part question, I think you addressed the first part. Second part is what we do to address this in the future, the negativity. I'll direct it at you.
21 seconds.
And as I addressed that earlier, I mean, I took steps to prevent this from happening again. Meeting with the department heads, meeting with city staff, so we don't have to go through the forum where everybody's got negativity, 24 hours a day. So we can move on and
Time.
I was short on a couple of.
And the next submitted question is directed to Alderman Norton. And that reads, please discuss the city audit relative to Merrill administration, management, and operations.
here's the financial audit. Relative to Merrill, we are good. We're not in debt, folks. The debt chart that was coming from the recall people, that's false information. Their numbers are false. I have those numbers. This debt is done yearly by an independent contractor. They stood up during a meeting that none of the recall people attended, which I was really surprised. They want to know about the audit, the finances and everything. They never showed up for the recall. for the audit committee. They were asked, how are we looking 5, 10 years down the road? They said, we are good. We have a Class A bond rating. We are good. Our borrowing is good. How it affects the management was the second part.
Correct. Management and operations.
Management and operations, that would be in your capital budget. So keeping people in their jobs is the main part, and that's what we need. The jobs here in the community will keep the community growing and thriving where it needs to go. And that's really the last one. I get 20 seconds.
No, you answered it.
Answered
Management
it?
and operations.
Okay.
Grateful only 2 people came up here. Just to add what Rob hasn't said, because we're going to answer common information on this. I think the other important piece of that report and the outbrief that was a public hearing in the Common Council chambers was when they said that what we're doing with our investment and development in the TIDs is right on track and following a course that is recommended by that community. Some people came back after the report and said, well, that's not an independent agency that did that audit. I think, if I remember right, this particular firm, Ehlers, has like 652 businesses and customers, and I would just share with everybody that a corporation like that doesn't play games when it comes to audits and investigations and providing a city or a business a result, or they wouldn't be in business anymore. What was the second part of the question again, Jeremy?
Relative to burial administration, management, and operations.
Financial and budget, or what?
The city audit.
Okay. Couple minor management recommendations in the report, and that report is posted publicly. Nothing major, and more housekeeping issues of who does what in the city staff with the information. And I'll use this opportunity to say that Merrill's finance director, Kathy Nergal, who's taken some heat rounds for a mistake that she made for the past several months, has done far more good than bad, and performed and completed many more tasks than she made mistakes on.
So the next one be led off by Alderman Russell, correct? Can you explain TID and TIP? And if they help Merrill, please give examples.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely. Can you explain TID and TIP? If they help Merrill, please give examples.
So the first part of my answer would be for everybody to take a look at the page 2 of the photo news from Wednesday, July 10th of this week, and take a look at a summary ad that was placed by Caroline and Tim Nean that provides a summary in the areas of the economy, infrastructure, and a safe and healthy community is probably the most simple reference point for people to look at. That goes back to 2014 to the present, and take a look at what TIF and TID does for projects and development. Most recently, I will answer by saying, after we took a number of heat rounds about the trees being cut and some of the vacant lots looking like nuclear test site facilities down by the old Whispering Pines, we have finally, with the good work the RDA committee has done, have 3 businesses that either have relocated down there or in the process of doing that. Two that were existing but expanded businesses, and a third which is going to be new, and that's the Golden Harvest. So that's another example of it. How am I doing on time? One of the housing projects that I think is important to look at is drive out on 107 going north of Merrill by the Mark and take a look at the, I would say, market to high-end market rate apartment complexes that are being built out there. That's a housing example of what TIF and TID can do. And there's many, many more. I'll end there.
A TID is your tax increment district. I'll try to put this in layman terms. It's your boundary. Your TIF is your tax incremental financing for that boundary. Postman? What a TIF is an incentive program to bring businesses, to get them to expand or come into your area. The taxes will freeze over a period of time. When that time has expired, then your taxes will go back to the normal roll, along with the houses, real estate around it. So that's your layman terms for a TID and a TIF. Do they work? Look around you right now. Do they work? And the city took the festival grounds over 4 years ago. It was put in the district. Do they work? Yes. Look at this building. Look at their grandstands. Look at their arenas. Look at the new bathrooms. Look what's going to be happening after the fair this year. Just in this block. Go down 2 blocks. Paul emphasized on it. 4 businesses in the 5th district. Do they work? Yes.
Thank you. Now a question for Alderman Gordon. Explain the process in applying and approving business incentives from the city. I believe maybe the question meant to be for the city rather than from the city. So explain the process in applying for and approving business incentives from the city. Things related to housing development incentives.
Number 1 would be have a plan. Get your plan together, have your site plan where you want to put it. Bring it in to Darren and Sherry in the office. In City Hall, excuse me. They'll go to city plan. If there's anything that you have questions on, or they might have concerns, they will help you with this plan. So if it's a new business that you want to start and you want to put it on the corner of Center Avenue and O'Day, have a plan, what you want to do, have your 5-year plan, because in every marketing aspect, put your 5-year plan out there. This is what we do with the audit. This is a 5 and 10-year plan. Our department heads have a 5 and 10-year plan that they submit. Have your plan, bring it to Darren and Sherry and City Hall. They will put you on the right step. We'll get you into the city plan agenda, and then it gets voted on from there. City plan then goes through council. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's Sherry's in with the community development that you can get low interest payments if you qualify and stuff. Improvements on your houses, new roofs and stuff like that. Community development. So there's a lot of incentives out there for people to take advantage of this.
I just think it's funny wait till you get up here. Not covering what Rob did, one of the first things I would do is contact either Ken Wall or Bill Bilecki, who are paid by, I think, the city and the county to do economic development, and they'll set up a meeting with you and sit down and go over a number of things with you. I think is beneficial. The second thing I do agree with Rob, take a plan, schedule to be on the agenda for the redevelopment authority meeting and get that committee briefed on what you would like to do. And there's a ton of smart people on that committee that'll help point you in the right direction, provide resources, and get the ball rolling. I think something I supported Mayor Wellner on that I think was a good idea was at least for some of the larger empty properties and land in the city was to put for sale signs on it. And I realized that a lot of those properties didn't, sell the next month, but I think what it did was it gave businesses and developers and individuals an idea of where they could do something in the city of Merrill, and they're starting to, from my understanding from the last RDA meeting, it's starting to generate interest in activity, so I think that's good. And then lastly, I would go on the city website and the ordinances and review the policy and procedure for the technical details of submitting or what the requirements are to do that.
Thank you. So the next question would go to you, Alderman Russell. Bear with me, this is a lengthy question, it's 3-part. Can you repeat it, just let me know. First part is, when did you, or how did you find out about the tax-free increase, or the tax rate percentage, I'm sorry, was different than expected? Was there a meeting to inform the council of the percentage mistake before statements went out? And if not, who should have called that meeting?
Could you repeat it once more, Jeremy?
Absolutely. When or how did you find out about the tax rate percentage was different than expected? Was there a meeting to inform the council of the percentage mistake before statements went out? And if not, who should have called that meeting?
I cannot give you a date and time. I was notified by the city administrator and finance director, and I would say that after the tax levy and tax rate information was known, and we had the common council meeting where Mayor Wallner vetoed the budget, there wasn't a follow-on committee of the whole or common council meeting that should have been called to further discuss it. So that certainly complicated the issue, and shortly thereafter, the 2 alderpersons resigned, and we didn't even have quorums for certain committees to have meetings until the process of selecting and appointing the replacements on the council. Maybe repeat the question one more time. so
I believe you covered most of it. I think the only thing you didn't cover was the very last part. If that meeting was not called, which I think you stated there wasn't, who should have called it?
without having the policy and procedure manual in front of me, I can't give you the legal answer. I would say either Mayor Wellner, myself, or any of the alderpersons could have called that meeting or requested to have that meeting. I can do it.
Yeah, and that's, everything Paul said is true. We found out from the city administrator and the finance director before the statements went out, there was no meeting. Should a meeting been called? Yes. To call a special meeting or any committee of the whole meeting, that's either done by the mayor or it's done by two alders. As Paul emphasized, we can get a forum for some of the committees, so that's what put us behind in this. How would we handle it different? We're a year older and a year smarter. We've taken the steps that we did not take a year ago with the new administration. Maybe we were